Welcome to the fourth meeting of the House Agriculture Committee meeting. I'm going to start off, before I forget, introducing a couple of guests that are all the way from the flatlands of Western Kentucky. Brenda and Mason Clapp, friend of ours, we go to church together, and they're out here touring the Capitol today, so they have their own personal tour guide, Miss Ruth, and y'all make them feel welcome. We'll call the roll now.
Representative All.
Here.
Representative Callaway. Representative Kleins. Representative Dixon.
Here.
Representative Graham. Here. Representative Hale.
Here.
Representative Hart.
Here.
Representative Kim King.
Present.
Representative Cook. Here. Representative McPherson.
Here.
Representative Neighbors.
Here.
Representative Pollock.
Here.
Representative Pratt. Here. Representative Rayburn. Representative Stalker.
Present.
Representative Stevenson. Representative Tate. Here. Representative Thomas.
Present.
Representative Tipton. Representative Pfister.
Here.
And Chairman Heath.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, we have a quorum and duly constituted to conduct business. We're actually going to start a little bit out of order. We'll start with Senate Bill 118 in case Chairman Meredith has some other business he needs to take care of this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Greatly appreciate that. Yes, I think I've got 7 House bills that are on our
we need to
committee
get you
agenda
out of here
today,
then.
so appreciate that. I'm Steve Meredith, State Senator for the 5th District. And Mr. Chair, I think in my 8 years here, this is the first time I've ever had a presentation for Agriculture Committee, so I truly am honored and privileged to do so. And I promise you, this is one of those simple little bills. I know we talk about this a lot, and usually it's in the same vein as unicorns and Sasquatch, but I promise you this is a simple little bill. It's called the Purple Paint Bill. When I presented this in the Senate, I was asked what group asked for this. No group asked for it. It was a single constituent, and usually that's some of the best bills that we have. But it simply is another means to identify property and trespassing. You know how we do it traditionally. We nail up those yellow signs on posts and on trees and so forth. And over time, they get torn down or weather makes them deteriorate. So my constituent asked, could we do this purple paint? This is something that they do in 22 other states to designate no hunting areas and no trespassing. And it's simply you paint 3 lines on the tree, 3 foot off the ground, no higher than 5 feet off the ground, 1 foot in length. I believe this is, and you have 3 of them. But that's kind of a universal designation that this is no trespassing.
We have a motion by Representative Pollock, a second by Representative King. Any questions or comments? Representative McPherson.
So would this be something that Fish and Wildlife then would put out on there to show that it's a universal? I mean, how would we get the message out for everybody?
It could. I'm hoping Farm Bureau will step up too. It'll be a public service kind of information, but this is a may, not a shall. So you still want to use the yellow signs, you can do this, but through public service kind of analysis is how we'll get the word out.
Yeah, I'm just making sure it got out enough that everybody, because somebody said, well, I don't know what purple paint on it, you know, just.
I think it's more pronounced than people realize. I mentioned 22 states have already done this.
Correct.
Every state that's contiguous to Kentucky has the purple paint bill.
Thank you.
Representative Pollock.
Thank you, sponsor, for bringing this to the committee this morning. Representative Hart and I just was talking, and is there a retroactive part on this bill, sir?
No, and it doesn't come from California either.
Thank you, sir.
Inside joke if you're on government contract review.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, Representative Tipton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator, pardon my tardiness, but had to stop at McDonald's and get breakfast on the way. But
Hope you brought mine.
Taylorsville Lake, we have the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers owns property all around the lake. Those properties are identified by red paint, and everybody has come to know that you don't cross over that red paint with a mechanical vehicle or take a tree, or at least they're supposed to. So I assume this is a similar type of proposal proposal. It's just an identifying mark so people know they are on somebody else's property.
Yes, it is. It's a may rather than a shall, but just gives farmers additional means to identify property. And, ironically, or tragically, I should say, over 1,000 people are killed in this country every year by hunters accidentally because they don't know where they are. And we like to say in Grayson County, we're amazed at the number of people that think property doesn't belong to somebody. And I think this will help alleviate that. And that doesn't count the number of cattle that are also killed by stray bullets because people just don't know where they are.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Stalker.
Thank you so much, Chair. Question for you. You've given me an education, so thank you this morning. I was not aware of this. And my question is really about trying to better understand, is this bill only applicable to large sections of land? Or is this something that would also be applicable to me painting something in my residential front yard as a signal to people that they are not welcome?
Yes, it's no restriction, just an agricultural area. Anyone who wants to use this can possibly do it. Of course, whether you got an acre of property or 50 acres like I own, so anyone should be able to use this.
Okay.
I guess the measure is, if you feel the need to post a no trespassing sign, which most people will do, we've all seen the yellow signs that we put up on trees and posts, that in lieu of that, you can use the purple paint designation in lieu of that.
Okay. And I didn't see anything, but what typically happens if somebody were to come up on some property and they do not understand what that means, and they don't realize that they're maybe on private property or in an area that has been designated?
Well, in most cases, it's a verbal warning by the landowner that you're on my property, trespassing, you don't need to be here. If they continue to persist, then there's a felony, there's a misdemeanor that's involved in that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? If not, we'll take the vote.
Representative All,
Aye.
Representative Callaway,
Absolutely.
Representative Klein, Representative Dixon, Representative Pfister,
Yes.
Representative Graham, Representative Hale,
Yes.
Representative Hart,
Yes.
Representative Kim King,
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Cook, Representative McPherson,
Yes.
Representative Neighbors,
Yes.
Representative Pollock,
Yes.
Representative Pratt,
Yes.
Representative Rayburn, Representative Stalker,
Yes.
Representative Stevenson, Representative Tate,
Yes.
Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Representative Tipton,
Yes.
and Chairman Heath.
Yes.
It passes.
Passes with favorable expression. Same too should pass on the House floor. Thank you, Senator, for bringing this good bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's 8:38. I love you guys. Thank you.
Representative Massaroni will come and present House Bill 335. I'll let you introduce yourself for the record, and then we'll request a motion on this.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Committee. My name is Representative Candy Massaroni from Nelson County.
Thank you. And we have a sub. We have a motion on the sub from Representative Callaway and second by Representative Pollock. All in favor of adopting the committee sub signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. And sub passes, and the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Chair. This is bill, it's constituent driven. Senator Higdon ran it last year. It went through the Senate, and I think it got 2 readings on the House. We're going to run it this year, try to get it through. It's a pretty simple bill. It distinguishes between service and emotional support animals. It's really to safeguard the rights of business owners and those who need service animals. Its goal is to prevent abuse, allowing those business owners to accommodate customer needs, especially in food service areas. It will establish policies for vaccinations, license, and tagging those service animals.
Thank you. We have a motion by Representative Tate, second by Representative McPherson. Any questions or discussion from the group? Representative Stevenson.
Thank you. I have had some constituent communication about this bill, and I just want to be sure if, let's say, a bar and they have a patio and they allow dogs, would it stop that from happening?
If the owner,
Owner of the
owner
establishment
business
has the
allows it, it's fine. It
Okay.
just gives the owners of establishments the
ability to
opportunity
say.
if they have, like food service areas.
Yes.
If they don't want the dog around certain areas, they can ask the person if it's a service or emotional support
Okay,
animal.
thank you.
Any other questions or comments before we vote? If not, we'll take the vote.
Representative All,
Aye.
Representative Callaway,
Yes.
Representative Kleins, Representative Dixon, Representative Pfister,
Yes.
Representative Graham, Representative Hale,
Yes.
Representative Hart,
Yes.
Representative Kim King,
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Cook, Representative McPherson,
Yes.
Representative Neighbors,
Yes.
Representative Pollock,
Yes.
Representative Pratt,
Yes.
Representative Rayburn, Representative Stalker,
Yes.
Representative Stevenson, Representative Tate,
Yes.
Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Representative Tipton,
Yes.
and Chairman Heath.
Yes.
Passes.
Passes. We do have a title amendment. Entertain a motion. Motion by Representative Tipton, second by, is it Hart? Representative Hart? McPherson, sorry about that. I was looking down. All in favor of title amendment, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? And title amendment passes. Bill passes with favorable expression. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We have a presentation now that if ladies and gentlemen will come up, you're going to make them do it by themselves. You're fine, any way you want to do it.
I'll come
So,
sit here for
yeah.
moral support, Mr. Chairman.
Keep them company. So anybody that, you're all three, would, if you'd like to, especially if you're testifying, introduce yourself for the record.
Of course.
Mr. Chairman, I'll let them introduce themselves and let them do the talking this morning.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for having us here
Make
today.
sure your mic is on. Is the green light on?
It is. I'll move it closer.
There
then.
you go.
Thank you for having us here today, Mr. Chairman. My name is Jessie Hancock. I am the Executive Director of the Bluegrass Land Conservancy, and this is Ashley Greathouse. She is our Counsel and Director of Conservation.
Thank you. Welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Again, we appreciate being able to present to you guys today. You should have some information that was in your packet. We at the Bluegrass Land Conservancy have a very unique opportunity that has been given to us. We recently received an award through the Farm Bill for $45.7 million. This was the largest award given in the entire country, and it made Kentucky number 7 on the rankings of states for total award given. This award was part of the NRCS program, again through the Farm Bill. The entire award is intended to be used for the purchase of conservation easements on agricultural and natural lands in 2 specific areas of Kentucky. You can see that on your map that was provided in your packet. The award, again, the largest in the country. We're very excited about it. It does not come with any administrative funding. The entire award is meant for landowners And so we are here at the state trying to get some assistance. We were not expecting to receive the full award that we asked for. We were expecting to maybe receive one of them and maybe a portion. So this is an incredible opportunity for Kentucky. Again, this is $45.7 million. It will go directly to landowners in Kentucky. There are no strings attached to the money once they receive it, and therefore they can use it to pay off debt, to invest in new farm equipment, to do other things that they might need to do as a family. There is additionally, in addition to the $45.7 million, there is an additional tax deduction that is received by landowners that participate. And so there's really a $90 million economic value to this program that we will see in Kentucky. Part of why we were here asking for assistance is we have 5 years to execute this program, or else the money goes back to the feds. We would really like to bring all of this money into Kentucky. We also have the opportunity to ask for more money. We've been told by NRCS that if we can execute this well, that there's more money available for us to ask for and that we would be likely to receive it. So again, we are here. We have an ask in for $4 million in assistance from the state. That would allow us to get started on the program quickly. We need to essentially double the output of the Bluegrass Land Conservancy in order to execute this and execute it well. We do have a board of directors. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. Our board of directors has committed recently to an additional $15 million campaign. And so we anticipate raising $16 million in private funds to assist with this program as well. We would love for this to be a public-private partnership to bring these dollars into Kentucky and make this impact. I'm going to turn it over to Ashley for a second to talk just a little bit about conservation easements and the way that these easements would work for anyone who's less familiar. This is a completely voluntary program, so landowners will be given the opportunity to participate. They do not have to participate. So again, we will be presenting this opportunity, and landowners can choose to participate if they would like to.
So to date, we as an organization have actually protected 33,000 acres in the Bluegrass. So we've been doing this for a while. Our organization has been around for 28 years. And historically, we have been protecting land through donated conservation easements instead of having the opportunity to purchase easements through this program. So we have a long history with landowners working with easements, and we have a long history with NRCS. So this is something that we are familiar with and have the experience to carry out. We just now have quite a bit of money to do so. So as part of this, we will also be doing a comprehensive conservation plan and be working with other state agencies, other land trusts, and conservation groups in the state. It really is designed to be a partnership. This entire program is a partnership program, and we'll be really excited to get the input from everyone that is doing conservation work here. We also wanted to reiterate that these are voluntary legal agreements with a landowner, and that these easements still allow landowners to farm their property. You can still hunt. You can still build a limited number of future residences. You can divide the property if it's large enough. So there's still a lot of flexibility with these easements moving forward. We also probably, I'm sure you'd like to hear a little bit about the funding opportunity. So the landowner in these conservation easements through RCPP is eligible to receive the cash payment at closing, as Jesse said. That cash payment is 50% of the value of the conservation easement, and it's a one-time payment. The other value, the other 50%, is the donated conservation easement value, which is what we've historically done. And so the donated portion is a federal income tax benefit, and those benefits are 50% deductions of your adjusted gross income in the first year of the gift. And whatever you don't use that first year, you can carry it forward for up to 16 years or until that is all used. So it's an amazing opportunity for us to be intentional and strategic about where we're protecting land. it's a lot more attractive, obviously, to landowners, and we're really hoping to build some critical mass of protected lands in important areas in the state. So.
Thank you. We do have some individuals who would have a question or comment. We'll
Yeah.
start with Representative King.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do have 3 questions, if I may.
Yeah.
One at a time, I know.
Okay, sure.
So I think you have spoken to it. Sorry, I'm right here in the middle. So this is a permanent restriction on this
It is.
property
It's
into
in-
perpetuity
Yes.
to heirs, future buyers, that kind of thing.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, I wanted to make sure of that. And on the front page of your handout, it talks about a $90 million economic benefit. What economic benefit? What are some examples? Go ahead.
It is so it's an actual cash payment for $45 million is the amount that will be paid directly to the landowners through the program for their conservation value to compensate them for what they're essentially giving up in perpetuity on their land, which is that high density residential development right. And then the other 50% of that to get to that $90 million amount is the federal income tax benefit. So there's a $45 million federal income tax benefit associated with the donations, the donation portion of the easement.
Okay, I may just offer my personal opinion is that's an economic benefit from your all standpoint, but it's offset by other economic benefits that aren't being realized. I just want us to make sure.
Well, potentially, yes. So most of the easement and areas that we're targeting are rural areas. So again, this is a voluntary program. We want to make sure as an organization, we're not an advocacy organization. We're not anti-development. We believe communities need to grow. We also believe that some of our best agricultural resources and natural resources should be conserved as a state so that we've got the ability to continue our agricultural base as well as people's ability to hunt and fish and enjoy those areas. So while people are giving up an economic benefit to potentially develop their property in a certain way, most of these areas are pretty rural. And so we're talking about, protecting land that is currently rural land.
My final question, if I may.
Yes.
So that leads right into my final question, which is also 2 parts, sorry, but going to the map. It's a little bit grainy on our black and white copy. So I serve Jessamine and Mercer, so 2 of those counties listed there. In the Mercer on our printout, north of between the C and E and Mercer, is that just a glitch in the printing, or is there a small dark BLC property identified there?
Is that Mercer or the one in Woodford that's across?
Mercer.
Mercer.
Just above the C and the E. I don't know any other way to explain that.
Yeah.
Or can we get a zoomed in copy?
We can, yeah, and that is an
to better
easement.
understand. Are there any properties identified in Mercer? It looks like
Well,
there could be 3, but I don't know. It could be a glitch in the printing.
so these are showing already protected properties. So these are already residents of Kentucky who've chosen to protect their properties prior to this program existing at all. So we haven't identified any. Nobody has come to us. We haven't released this program yet.
These are already in place.
So these are landowners in Kentucky who voluntarily over the years have chosen to conserve their properties, and that's what this is showing.
Okay, and I'm also very, very interested clearly in the Jessamine County footprint as well. If I could just get maybe one in color
Yeah.
or zoomed in, at least on those 2 counties, that would be very beneficial. So why are those spots chosen? And you've kind of touched on it, but what makes that particular point of interest to you all and not a mile away?
So we had two projects that we presented for funding from through the Farm Bill. One project was focused on the farmland in the counties kind of surrounding Jefferson County, as you can see on the map. So Bullitt, Spencer, Shelby, Henry, Oldham, and that was agricultural, food-based, was the main ask there. And the other project area, which included Franklin, Scott, Woodford, Anderson, Mercer, Jessamine, and a little bit of Garrett County, that one is focused around the Kentucky River Palisades and particularly around conserving some wildlife corridor around the Palisades area. So that's the real focus of that project.
Thank you for your answers, and thank you for your indulgence, Chair. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Representative All.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You'll come to find that legislators love maps. We love all the data, and we're very particular about our areas, our constituency. So I also have a map question.
Yeah.
You guys are based in Lexington, and your service area includes Fayette County and a lot of the areas around Fayette County, and I noticed that Fayette County, at least the areas to the east, are not included in this project. And I think you just kind of halfway answered that based on the type of project, but could you go a little bit further in that space?
Yeah, so for these projects, for the grant asks, you had to request a certain area for funding, and then you had to work within kind of the buckets of availability within what they were looking for the NRCS program. So we did those two areas, again, the Kentucky River Palisades and then the ag land around Jefferson County and the surrounding counties. So that's why areas like Fayette County and some of those other areas aren't covered in this particular project. Fayette County really has a different program and organization that works for conservation in Fayette County. We do have some programs for Bourbon County, and of course we have donated programs across the entire Bluegrass region. But that's why these areas were included.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Representative Tipton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Over here. I also have two counties in here, Anderson and Spencer County. I've got a couple of questions. Are there specific criteria that you go by for the types of properties, or could any landowner apply that was in any of these counties?
There are some rules for applicants. Those are NRCS rules and regulations. Anyone that is applying for these programs has an income verification process. So landowners have to make $900,000 a year or less on average over the past 3 years to be eligible to receive the funding. That's one of the qualifications. The other is that they have to be U.S. citizens. So they do an independent process for any of the landowners that we submit an application for. But as far as landowners that we would accept applications for in these areas, we hopefully will be narrowing that down a little bit after our strategic conservation plan process to try to identify those projects in those areas that are most important in each of these larger service areas. So we may, at the end of it, if we don't get enough applicants in those very targeted areas, allow for landowners in the entire service area to send in applications and rank those. But as of right now, we're trying to narrow it down a little bit based on those conservation plans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty confident most of the farmers in my counties are going to fall below that $900,000 income level. One other question, it goes to how we determine the value of the conservation easement. I'm a licensed real estate broker, so I deal with valuations all the time. Ag value for tax purposes, fair market value. Would there be an appraisal that would be done to determine the fair market value versus what the value would be worth after if a conservation easement were applied? Is that kind of how the process works?
That's correct. So the difference between those two numbers, the fair market value is the first number, and then the value of the property as if it is protected with an easement, so restricted. The difference between those two numbers is the conservation value. So that's what we're talking about.
Now, would there be an actual certified appraisal done?
Yes.
And who would bear the cost of that appraisal?
The Conservancy is required to pay for the appraisals for every project.
All right. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Representative McPherson.
As an appraiser that has done a few of these,
Hi.
I appreciate the process here. So, yes, so you're looking at protected waterlands, you're looking at wetlands, you're looking at, I've done some cave areas that have some bats, protected bats there. I've done some outcropping rock structures that they wanted to keep. But a farmer could just, like you say, go out and say that they wanted that land used for agriculture purposes for perpetuity. Is that correct also? And then again, like Chairman, Mr. Tipton was saying, that we, you know, the difference between the before and after, the bundle of rights, and you're giving away one of those bundle of rights, and you try to take the value of, and the tricky part of that is trying to find anything that's sold after that to kind of measure that. But we do our best to try to figure out a measure of what giving up one of those rights would do, and then certifying that as best we can. But that is something that I have participated in over the years, and I appreciate what you're doing. You know, I do know generationally down, the next 2 or 3 generations down may come as a shock to the third generation down that were grandkids are not even born, to say, well, why can't you sell this for this? Because my grandfather wanted it to be this way. That's something that I think probably needs to be spelled out from generation to generation, so they'll know that going forward.
So, thank you. And part of our goal in this particular program is to create a critical mass of protected farmland or natural lands. And there have been areas in the country where they have been successful in doing that. And over time, if you do create that larger critical mass of protected lands, it tends to actually increase the value of all of those lands. And so we are cognizant of that, and we want people obviously to be happy with this generationally. We're kind of married to these people once we do a conservation easement with them, and so we want them to be happy and the future generations to be happy. So that's part of the reason that we are really excited about this opportunity to be targeted and to be able to try to really create that critical mass so that it brings everyone's property value up potentially over time.
Sure. Yes, and I would agree to that you know, we're doing the appraisal today to say we're giving away a bundle of rights, but then there's a group of people that would be looking toward that land to say that's the type of land I want to live on, that has that bundle, you know, has that one right taken away, so I know that there won't be development, or I know I can always hunt on, or I know that it'll always look like the expectation of what it'll look like for generations. So I do think you're correct in saying sometimes what you take away might actually over time add back. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we, just in closing, we know that we are a little late to the process. We have presented to the Senate committee. We are hoping that this might be able to be part of the conversation when the two groups come together in free conference. Again, we are making a $4 million ask, and we would just appreciate the support of committee members.
Thank you for your presentation. I know you guys came to my office and explained this, and I'm glad you came and explained it to our committee members. Some of these members in this committee also serve on the Appropriations and Revenue Committee, and this conversation I'm sure will come up again with their group. So that's, am I missing anything? In your packet, committee members, and thank you, guests. We appreciate you coming. And members, you'll notice item number 4 is couple of administration regulations. It doesn't require any action on our part. We just want to draw your attention to it. If you have any questions or anything, you can reach out to us about those. Representative Callaway.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to record my attendance for today.
You.
Thank you.
Anybody? Representative Stevenson.